All right, and hello, welcome to Adapted episode 104. My name is Tristan. Joining me this week, we've got Sweeter, Chad, and we've got Jason back. Jason's here, guys.
I'm here. I had a cool bit earlier, but then cut it.
Technical difficulties.
There's duct tape involved, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was elaborate.
He got a hand
All right,
free.
well, let's get in the thick of things, as we've got, because of scheduling reasons, last week we didn't cover The Flash, thanks to Thanksgiving. Hope everyone gave thanks. But The Flash, Killer Frost last week, the episode directed by Kevin Smith, as we got to explore Caitlin and her struggles with the altered timeline where she's turning into Killer Frost. What you guys think?
I don't like her as Killer Frost.
It didn't really seem to have like a huge Kevin Smith feel at all, like the last season's episode did.
Because you loved the last season's episode.
It was okay.
Well, you probably gave it a 5.
As I do with most Flash episodes.
I thought it was a good episode. I didn't like the cameo of, God, why can't I think of his name right now?
Wally West.
No, the guy that he does the comic show with.
Oh, Greg Grunberg, yeah.
Yeah, where he brought in Jason Mewes last year.
And supposedly he's a recurring character now. I don't know how they just like, oh yeah, detective whatever, and he's like just a part of it for all this time. And
all right, well, was he a transfer?
I don't know.
Isn't that the guy from
he's from Heroes.
Hero? I hate that guy, dude. That's
and he was in Star Wars: The Force Awakens
yes.
because he's good friends with J.J. Abrams.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he's a super huge fan of like
that guy's the worst.
He's terrible, and he's only going to bring the show down. Thankfully, he was only in this one episode, but I'm sure he's going to be back in other episodes.
Why don't you guys like him? I don't think he's a fine actor, but when I look at him, he just annoys the shit out of me. There's just something about his look.
His like acting in this episode was like so campy and over the top. It was like kind of
maybe that's how
his acting is just like a regular guy you know off the street that just like, hey, go on the camera and say these lines.
Yes, dude, totally. It's like one of those home like commercials they make like on their camcorder and then put on like the fucking public broadcasting network, dude. That's the type of dude he is, and it just drives me crazy. Plus, I saw him on Heroes. So, and like that's all I can think of now is just.
And
like,
that show went downhill fast. So.
But Heroes was good for 2 seasons, and then
then
it wasn't Heroes quality anymore.
No uniforms.
I don't know. I actually liked Caitlin as Killer Frost. I'm sick of the Brady Bunch, man. I'm sick of this.
I enjoyed this episode.
Love it. Cisco being bitter
on Caitlin and her struggles because she knows who Killer Frost is. She doesn't want to become it. And Killer Frost is slowly taking over her and driving her nuts.
Uses Killer Frost.
Right.
The harder it is for her to.
But I kind of enjoyed like the crazy stuff she did, like stabbing Barry in the leg with the icicle, and I really enjoyed Barry punching Julie in the super speed. That was fun.
That was actually really awesome, dude. I did not like the fact that the way they flipped her was that he just stood there and just like stabbed me, and she like somehow broke out of this hold that Killer Frost had on her brain or whatever. But like she was okay to like slice his ankle in a heartbeat, didn't even think twice about it, but won't stab him in the chest. It's just like you could have killed him with that ankle shot too, dude. To be fair.
Like Barry's emotional talk and like
it wasn't even a good pep talk.
You're gonna have to kill me, Killer Frost.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go, and all of a sudden she's like, poof! Hey, I'm just gonna pop out of my PTSD, dude. It's like,
I'm here.
Good. Everything's merry. Yay!
And they start the exploration where it's dropped that in Barry's alternate timeline, Cisco's brother Dante is alive, and that it's dropped that the Cisco again is mad at Barry, and they explore that more in the next episode, The Flash. And I think hopefully this isn't an ongoing thing, and hopefully because it's just kind of an annoyance of Cisco and Barry. Because we already went over this earlier in the season when Cisco was really pouty at Barry. Because no one likes pouty Cisco. Everyone likes jokey Cisco.
I love pouty Cisco. I love emo Cisco.
I love rich Cisco. That was the best Cisco.
That was the best Cisco, yeah.
Dude, all right. We give this show a lot. Well, we've given it some downgrades. But I'm going to tell you, man, the CGI when Savitar was teleporting through the dimensions, I thought was actually pretty good given the CW, dude.
Dragging them around, it wasn't too bad, dude. They did all
like,
right.
and when Barry's like, dude, he's faster than I could ever imagine. He's like, we're teleporting and not even moving. That's how fast he was. I thought it was pretty cool. And I also thought the special effects when like Cisco vibed him and Caitlin to help out freeze was pretty cool.
And of course, we called it earlier in the season that Julian is definitely going to be a bad guy, and it's revealed in this episode that he's Alchemy, Dr. Alchemy.
They always go down this road, dude, every time. It's always someone close to Barry that turns out to be the villain.
So I wouldn't be so upset if they eventually reveal that Wally West is Savitar in some way. That would be an okay twist, because it's something they can finally do with Wally. And have him be a bad guy would be
Wally's just so annoying.
There is zero chance that they can fucking turn that into a Wally flip. I mean, he was trapped in the cocoon, dude.
And Joel with like that fucking little saw, like carving him out, even though everybody's like no, and then Barry's like,
you couldn't even cut your nails with that fucking
in post production. We'll speed up my and then Barry out of nowhere like. Gets him in like 4 seconds. He's like a newborn baby. And I guess it's like after that episode, because it was so annoying, like Wally West, and I was like reading like up on Wally West, and like up until recently, apparently Wally West has like been significantly more badass than the Flash. Before he was faster than Flash before the New 52 and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, Wally West used to be a white guy with red hair, and after Barry Allen died, Wally West was the Flash for a good 20 to 30 years in the comics. So Wally West in the comics has a long track record, but then this maybe because it's a black Wally West that's like the New 52 Wally West and now the current Rebirth Wally West. Well, there's actually 2 Wally Wests in the current Rebirth. But, yeah, they're going with a newer version, and he doesn't have a long track record, so it's a little harder probably for the writers to do things unless they just take old storyline from the previous Wally West and use that. I don't know, but they haven't really done much with Wally West, and that's why I'm kind of hoping that Savitar, the bad guy, is Wally West in some way.
The problem is that the dude who plays this Wally West is so
he's a bad actor.
Annoying, dude.
I don't know who's worse, Greg Grunberg or Keon. I can't remember his last name, but plays Wally West. But it's a toss-up.
Between Wally West and who?
And Greg Grunberg, the Heroes guy.
The Heroes guy.
Oh, yeah, good. That's
or season 1 I read, but yeah.
Because we get more Wally.
Just wait until they're both on the screen at the same time, dude. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, no. And H.R. Wells I want to touch on because he was actually helpful in this episode, despite being annoying a lot of time with his weird jokes and things he says. But
I actually don't mind this H.R.
He was okay.
He's growing on me. I really didn't like him in the beginning, but he's growing on me. So
I like the fact. Is this the episode where he wanted to open up Star Labs to like the world?
That's the next episode.
Okay, sorry.
He's dropped the hints of it in previous episodes. Though.
Easter egg.
Let's close this one out because we've got a crossover to start. So closing out last week's episode of The Flash, Killer Frost. What are you guys gonna score it? Out of 5.
Dude, I'll hit this one with a 4 out of 5. I think it was a good. It was a good episode.
4.
You love Kevin Smith.
I am just joking.
Yeah, dude, there wasn't really anything like super negative about it. The only thing that really I couldn't stand was the fact, and this is going to trickle into episode 8 as well, is the fact that these people get so fucking worked up, and it's just like, it feels like a cheap story way to like kind of get this emotional motion out of the story, but it's like annoying how like instantly fucking Cisco is just like mind blown and just destroyed because Barry changed the timeline and now he realizes something negative happened. I mean, negative shit's been happening since dude fucking got here and told you that he like drew. It's not like he went and killed his brother. Like, it is a different
Right.
alternate timeline. It's not his, like, there's a billion different timelines, bro. All sorts of shit. Do you want the one where you
And
have,
if
like,
you
no
really
legs and
wanna-
no arms timeline? You want me to bring that
If
one
you really
around?
want to blame someone, blame Harrison Wells / Eobard Thawne, who was responsible for the particle accelerator blowing up in the first place, giving the Flash his power.
Yeah,
So
so, like, just to get this emotional stuff, like, I think that's annoying.
And, dude, that's all going to come into play
it just
in
drags
Flash.
out. Yeah.
The carryover coming up. Because that was a part of contention for me for that episode.
Yes.
But
Go ahead, Sweetener.
if it wasn't for Wally West, I'd give this episode a 5. So I'm going to go with a 4. I thought that and the fact that we know I love Kevin Smith. Everybody go see Yoga Hosers. All right. Great movie. Wally West is super annoying. I like Caitlin, badass. Savitar is really cool. I'm interested to see where he's going to go. Julian as Alchemy, maybe, is pretty cool. Special effects were on par for this episode, so I don't know if they got a little more budget because Kevin Smith was directing it or something like that, but
it was a guy.
Good storyline. Wally West, God, please, somebody do something to help that guy out. But
There's nothing, dude.
Or-
He's in it for the long run unless he changes timelines, dude.
I know. I didn't watch the 2 Flashes back to back because I was like, God, I can't fucking handle this much Wally West, dude. I had to take a break there.
All right, and I'm going to give it a 3. I wasn't as high on it as you guys, just because it told me things I already knew, like Alchemy as Julian. We had the Wally storyline that kind of took over the episode in many ways. But Caitlin as Killer Frost and her dilemma with Cisco vibing the future and knowing that they eventually fight was probably the best highlight of the episode for me. So 3 for me this week, or from last week's episode of The Flash, Killer Frost. And let's get into the allegedly crossover. It's supposed to start with Supergirl, episode 8, Medusa. Turns out it doesn't really start until the last 30 seconds of the episode.
Yeah.
Slash a few like little teases with portals jumping in there every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's full.
Dude, they should be ashamed of themselves for even considering calling this part of the crossover because it wasn't. It had nothing to do with the general story.
And I guess their advertising of that is just because the inclusion of Supergirl in these other shows is kind of a big thing.
Right.
But yeah,
it's
I was really going into this episode. I thought I was like, okay, we're just going right into the big crossover, and I had really high hopes of a possible storyline with Mon-El, that he was responsible for bringing these aliens into this universe. Turns out he wasn't, and then these guys are just in a different Earth. But
Sweeter, I'll call on you.
So I have a question that, as I was eating my popcorn trying to enjoy some Supergirl, popped into my head. So Mon-El is from where?
He's from Daxamite.
Montana.
Okay.
And Montana.
He's a Montanan Daxamite. If he's from Daxon, how does he have the last name L if he's not from Krypton? And if he's an L, and he would be part of Superman's deal. So that means Kara and Mon-El are cousins, and that's fucking creepy.
You're trying to get some. I knew you were trying to work an inbreeding into this, like somehow.
It's a close name, but they explain that Daxam and Krypton are very close in culture. They just have small differences, so maybe that's why the names are very similar.
Mm,
Maybe.
So there's a Wisher on
I'm sure there is.
and a Wisher on Mars.
Yep.
well, I
There's
mean,
3 of
dude,
them.
go into your phone
would you
book.
sleep with the other Wisher?
Go into your phone book and look up Adams or something. You know, like Adams' last name. There's like 1,000 Adams. It's like,
Yeah.
and they're not
That's
all
one
related.
planet, though.
What's that?
And
That's
Well,
one
and
planet.
his name is kind of weird because
I'm sure there's
they call him,
aliens.
they just call him like Mon-L. So like that's like
Did they
Prince.
find him on a Monday?
I don't think, and there's a whole like mystery in the comics, like who Mon-El really is. Like there's a time where people thought he was some offshoot of Superman, in some ways like Superman from the future or the past or something like that.
Mm,
So this weird origin mystery behind Mon-El.
that explains why she's into him.
But yeah, they explored the little love interest between the two that he clearly remembered kissing her, and she
It was
felt a little
passionate.
weird about it. I kind of actually, this was the first episode I actually enjoyed the humor between Mon-El and Kara.
I did too. So the whole thing that I'm really looking forward to is when that shitbag Jimmy Olsen sees Mon-El and Supergirl just like going at it. It just rips Jimmy's heart out, dude. He goes crazy and Supergirl has to destroy him.
And then he bends his shield over his knee and storms out.
Oh, no.
Jesus, you really hate Jimmy.
There's not
That's
much
what
to
you
like
missed the last
about
few
him.
weeks, Jason. Sooner hates Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
I mean, we all hated him going into the season, but I mean, it's clearly manifesting into something.
Oh, once he got the outfit and the bike, dude, Sweener lost it.
I was over it, dude. He's so bad. Dude, is he not the worst character on the show?
Yo, he always was.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah.
That Finn guy is pretty bad too, but at least he's kind of funny.
At least
sometimes.
he's comedy relief.
He's like a Cisco
poor man.
replacement.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's a poor man's Cisco.
And then we also got a little Lena Luthor, Lex's sister, and her mother. Cadmus Labs, all that giant mess surrounding this episode where Mama Luthor was about to take out a lot of aliens, and that's kind of what
aliens.
all the aliens. And Lena Luthor switched on her at the last second. Kind of a surprising moment.
So this is the problem I have with that storyline. I like the whole Lena and her mom storyline. It's pretty good. Obviously, Lena wasn't loved as a child, and she has obviously mother issues. But if I'm going to give you, what was it, like Isotope 454 or something like that?
That's it.
Don't you think if Isotope 454 is the most important ingredient in your concoction to end all alien life form, you would be like, hey, Bob, you want to double check that? Make sure that's the right
Just
thing
some
to
tests
carry?
first. Run a couple tests.
You want me? Maybe do a little
Try
test
one.
here, hey, Bob? Okay, Bob. We're all good? All right, let's go.
I wouldn't trust Bob, though, either, to be fair.
I don't know. He seems like a good guy.
Well, then you can be like, hey, Steve, why don't you double check Bob's work back there, all right? Let's make sure this
Go
is
bring
real
in
thing.
one of those aliens and throw it at him once. See what happens.
Hey, this ain't no diet right. This is Coca-Cola. This is the real deal back here, okay?
Like, the other thing is, like, that was a hodgepodge, too. Like, how the hell did she get time to, like, throw it all together? And, like, how does she even, I don't know, it just seemed really quickly.
Well, that I've always said, like, they managed to, like, fabricate, like, these miraculous guns in 6 hours.
Yeah.
But that was the only problem that I really had with, like, the whole thing.
Didn't it seem like she had access or even knew where this fucking thing was located, but she was able to swap it out.
And then the only other thing I had a problem with is like, they're in Luthor Tower, because I can't remember what the name of it is, L Tower or whatever. And what's his name?
Lex Luthor.
Cyborg Superman?
What's that?
Superman? Cyborg Superman?
Cyborg Superman's down there
Show.
causing a ruckus in the atrium, and she's gonna come down from the 184th floor and be like, "Yeet!" And Supergirl's gotta save her, and she's going upstairs. Like, it reminds me how they're in these massive buildings, dude, but like, ain't nobody there, ain't no security, ain't no nothing.
Everyone leaves at 5. I go home. It was a fun little fight between Cyborg Superman and Martian Manhunter as he went a little white Martian on him.
Yeah, well, all of a sudden, he freaked out, dude. Cyborg Superman was like,
he's like, ah, my shit. That's what he said, I think.
So take into account Cyborg Superman and Supergirl and that whole fight and everything that goes down, because I'm going to circle back around to that in the next segment.
Wait, what am I supposed to do?
Just remember everything Sweener said.
Cyborg Superman and Supergirl's fight.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to bring that around full circle
All right.
when we go back into the Flash.
All right, and then to close out, well, we also had let their little Thanksgiving dinner, and Alex trying to, she did let everyone know that she is gay, and she came up to her mom, and her mom was like, "Cool, thanks for coming out."
Yeah.
No need to
Good to
make a
be
big
here.
deal out of it.
She's like, stop bothering me. I'm trying to get a piece of Mon-El over here.
Yeah, which I feel like in 2016 is just pretty much the standard. It's like, hey, I'm gay. I think most people are like, oh, all right, cool, whatever.
You know, like, you don't need to
That's
announce it. You just like bring your significant other to you. And everyone's
Yeah,
like,
it's like
life
I
is
can see if
normal.
this was like 2003, man, you might be a little leery or something. It's like
They've
2006.
kind of stretched it out, like each episode of Alex confessing to Maggie Sawyer her true intentions, and then last week it was Takara, and now this week was to her mom and everyone else. But for their chemistry between Alex and Maggie, they've got some decent chemistry between any of these other characters on any of these shows, as far as actually being like, oh, they're like really into each other. Like, it makes sense, and that's probably the better thing of the whole aspect of things.
The other thing that I kind of had a problem with was Kara questioning like her parents, saying they're monsters and all that, dude. Like, they're gonna kill all the aliens on the planet. They're just trying to save their own planet, man. They're heroes. Hey, Tristan, if you develop a serum that's gonna kill all aliens that come to the Earth, I'm gonna high five you, bro. Right here.
It's not me. Don't kill you.
What if you find out your wife is an alien?
Now, if it's ET, I might be upset, dude. But if it's like some Independence Day bullshit, I'm
what
like,
if it's the aliens from Total Recall? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never
what
know.
if it's aliens from Aliens?
Well, take the good with the bad.
The ones from They Live? You think it's someone else, dude?
All right.
I need my sunglasses, and I'm fresh out of bubblegum, dude.
And then we close out this week's episode with Barry and Cisco finally popping through one of these portals, and Cisco gets the introduction to Kara. And of course, like right away, Cisco's like, when Barry's like, this is my friend Cisco, and Cisco's like, yeah, use that term loosely as far as friend or whatever he said, but this is an ongoing thing clearly with Barry and Cisco, and they brought it over to Supergirl.
Yeah.
So they brought the worst part of the Flash episode into this as a crossover.
Kind of
smart.
Yeah. The other thing that I had a real problem with was John. All right. So obviously he gets the blood transfusion to save his life. He's like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with my people, the aliens, right? And it's for the last like 3 episodes, it's been his struggle. The story's been about his struggle about becoming the White Martian, right? And then with 8 seconds left, they're like, Kara's super duper genius fucking mom just deconstructs like the perfect weaponized serum. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I took care of that White Martian blood problem.
It's great to have her on board.
Yeah.
All right, high five. Cool. Like, why introduce a fucking storyline that pans out over fucking 3 episodes to just like brush it under the rug?
Well, we knew he couldn't stay a White Martian, so they had to
but you could have come way better ways for him to battle the White Martian.
Instead of like the back end at the last second, just like, oh yeah, by the way, oh, you look good, thanks.
Oh, by the way, we threw the baby out with the bathwater, dude.
All right, and on that note, let's score this week's episode as we go to the second part of the crossover. Sweeney, what you got for this week's episode?
I'm gonna give it. I'm in between a 3 and a 4. I'm gonna go with a 3. It was all right. There were a couple things that I had a problem with, like the whole question I had. Maybe now a little more clarity with Mon-El. Except when I was watching it, suddenly hit me like I think like she's making out with her cousin.
It's always a runner.
I thought it was funny when they were playing like, were they playing Chutes and Ladders or what were they playing?
Monopoly, bro.
Oh, was it Monopoly?
Yeah, they're playing Monopoly.
Oh my! It was a Superman edition.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of funny. I like Lana and all that stuff with her mom. I can't believe her mom got caught like so easily. I would have thought she'd been like a better henchman than that.
Throw in the slammer.
Yeah, so I don't know. 3.
Right next to Lex.
Well, that was the thing, is like she brought her to this huge ass open field with none of her cronies around. It was literally her, Cyborg Superman, and then fucking Lena Luthor. And then this giant ass rocket and the fucking
She thought she could trust her daughter.
control panel. It's just like, you know someone's coming for that fucking rocket. I thought it was going to end Supergirl. I got really excited. Or blow her into it and they have to go to a different Earth. But yeah, I'm going to throw a 3 on this one. It just wasn't as good as some of the other Supergirls, man. And, you know, just like wasting the whole episode. I was, and maybe that's me, but I was expecting this to be the lead-in to, you know, this big invasion, like you said in the beginning. And it's only like the last, 2 minutes, not even, dude, like maybe 30 seconds of the episode. So, and then most of it just felt like half-ass filler. Like they could have done so many more cool things with Lena Luthor and the Cadmus deal going on, and they burned White Martian. But
yeah, like I was actually pretty excited because I thought Lena Luthor was actually going to become like a villain.
Yeah, I thought it was just
She's
a
still
shitty.
good. She's got Luther as her last name.
It was a shitty twist.
She's not really a Luthor. She's adopted, and Mom doesn't love her, so.
It was like a triple twist in one episode where she was like, "Mom, I'm on your side. Mom, I'm not on your side. Mom, I'm on your side." And then, oh, surprise, 4 twists.
Right. I'm at 3 for this week's episode. My whole prediction of what the crossover would lead into with Mono phoning home, and then that would be bringing the aliens into this universe / getting into the Arrowverse of however they did it, was a little disappointing just because I thought it was a great idea, but I can't be too disappointed that the writers didn't think just like me. But it was, and then seeing to start the Flash episode, we got the exact same scene from Supergirl in the Flash, so knowing that happens later is kind of a buzzkill, big time.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, overall it was good to see some Luthors running around, some Lex mentions, which is always fun for not even having this character on the show, but just knowing that he exists in this universe, and of all of us knowing who Lex Luthor is, like, we know. And
they said he was in jail. I mean, is this a slow hint that he could come out next season as a villain? Kind of like just teasing it in there, and then they could bring back Superman again as a crossover, or like he comes back to help out.
I mean, I would think they'd keep him away because he's more like of a better Superman bad guy than anything. But they could if they get into the 6th season and they really need a bad guy. I guess they could bring Lex Luthor in. I suppose. Let's get into the part 2 of the big CW DC crossover invasion as we get to the Flash episode 8, titled Invasion. And interesting, for a big superhero team up, one really great thing about this episode that they do is that they don't waste too much time and explanation of getting everyone together. I kind of appreciate that. Instead of just wasting time, they're like, let's get into the action. Let's see people fight and why they're here. Just like, oh, I sent them a message, and Legends of Tomorrow are going to hang out with us pretty soon. And Barry and Cisco are going to go to Earth 3 and get Supergirl and bring her back for help. I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys felt of it, unless you wanted to see more of that.
No, dude, I think they nailed it as quick as possible. I don't like the whole fucking dysfunctional team gimmick. I felt like they used that last time as well. Like, or not.
But I mean, like, that's their shtick, you know?
Yeah, it's just like, get through the dysfunctional thing and then let's get into it, like, the real deal of it. Felt a little awkward.
I really didn't expect them to bring over Flashpoint stuff right now to affect this crossover. I mean, I guess it was in the back of my mind that they could have, because it's there, and there were a few characters affected by Barry's change in the timeline, like Diggle and a few of the others. Cisco.
Again, another motherfucker who's like, I had a daughter instead of a son? What the fuck? You got a kid? It's not like the kid disappeared.
You got a son, dude.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like,
one or the other.
Don't get upset about something you've never known your entire life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like Cisco, who's like seen his brother, you know, and he's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, Diggle's just like it's a non-existent kid, you know. Instead of having a boy, you had a girl, dude. You'd be glad you got a kid. You couldn't have no kid.
Barry should have told Cisco that his brother died in his timeline because Cisco killed his brother, just to fuck with him even more.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
I did appreciate with how many characters are floating around here that we got a little Martin Stein and Caitlin scenes there, because that worked better, and it's a good reminder that Stein used to be on The Flash, and he had a good relationship with his characters.
Right.
And he's kind of out of place in Legends of Tomorrow. He fit a lot better with Star Labs team. But it was good, and that's another new revelation that he has a daughter, someone that he didn't have at all. He didn't have any kids.
Don't you think if you were his daughter, you'd find it really fucking weird? Like, all of a sudden, Dad just shows up to the door with some fucking strange broad.
Yeah.
And, She's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. Dad's like, yeah, I missed you.
I gotta
too.
go.
Peace out. We got to roll. That whole thing was like weird to me.
We've got aliens hanging out, so.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? But I'm going to say, man, this, to me, was a fantastic episode.
It was a lot of fun. That's what I was looking for in this crossover. I had a smile on my face during some of these scenes.
I didn't even mind Arrow and the Red Hood. Is that her name? Because I stopped watching.
Yeah.
Stopped watching Arrow 1.5 seasons ago.
Oliver does his like usual grumpy self with some things. He says like when he mentions like, "Oh, I thought you brought an alien to us, Barry," and Supergirl, who looks like a human. But he did bring Barry to Earth of like the whole problem with Flashpoint and Barry just like sulking like, "Oh, I ruined so many people's lives," and Oliver
like,
just like getting him straight like, "Hey man, we do what we do. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. It's what we do. We're going to save lives. We're going to also make mistakes."
Technically, you didn't ruin anyone's life. That's their life that they chose to live while you were, doing your other thing.
Right.
I thought it was a good story that Oliver had about his dad in the boat and then about how his mom died. And he's like, yeah, Barry, fuck it. I would go back in time to save their lives too. That's just being fucking human, bro. Cisco's just being a salty bitch because Barry won't go back and save his brother.
Yeah.
And then what's her name? The new captain is like, I am in a time vessel. I could go back and save my sister at any time, but I don't do it because I don't want to alter the timeline. But now to come back full circle, right, to where I was said, like, let's put this placeholder in. So in every episode of Supergirl handily gets her ass kicked by everyone, right?
That is very
true. Now the
Legends.
The whole crew together can't kick Supergirl's ass, dude. She was like, whew, should I keep going? Should I take it a little easier?
Yeah, that is funny, because those generic-ass fucking villains she fights always beat the shit out of her, dude. Yeah, and, like, none of these, like, superheroes.
Maybe the people on Earth 3 are just tougher than Earth 1. Possibly.
Yeah, that's possible.
There were some surprising or just weird things in this episode. Despite it being a good episode, I really thought the aliens, the Dominators, would be covered a little bit more. They had an effect because they did the whole mind control thing and pitted all the metahumans, superheroes, against Barry and Oliver, Flash and Green Arrow. And that was a fun little thing. But the other little negative thing I want to talk about is the weird West family dynamic of this episode, where Iris and Joe just like are so against Wally West getting out there and embracing his powers.
I felt like last week, like Joe was like all happy for Wally, like, "Hey, that's my boy. Look how fast he is. Give him a cigar."
There were just a couple of buzzkills this week, especially Iris. Dude, Iris is awful.
Why doesn't Iris just die already?
Maybe that's the one that goes down. I think you say that every week. It's like your tagline, dude.
He needs a T-shirt that says "Iris just die."
But dude, and then the other thing was, so you've got Flash and Arrow versus everyone, right? And for the most part, Arrow's taking care of his own, dude. Like, he's like, Diggle, bitch, get out of here with that weak shit, dude. And then whatever her name is, Red Hood or Canary or takes care of her. And then as well as what's her name from Legends of Tomorrow?
The White Canary?
Yeah. And dude, he's carrying Wally, who just got his ass kicked. Dude, and Diggle's like shooting off 87 rounds at old Oliver. Can't hit him. She's lobbing arrows left and right. Nobody's hitting anybody. I'm like, why is it whenever I watch these shows, dude, these guys never miss a beat, dude? But they can't hit old Oliver running with a half-dead Wally on his back.
Yeah, that was amazing. And I was also amazed that the Green Arrow actually ran out of arrows. I don't know if that happens often, but it did. He ran out of arrows.
And, dude, tell me, at that point in time, when it was 4th and 1, dude, Green Arrow is out of his arrows, dude, facing immense odds. What were you waiting for? Who were you waiting for?
Barry?
Cisco
Oh.
and Killer fucking Frost, dude, just coming in to save the day.
They're always there for it.
Letdown.
Are you getting hyped for Arrow now, Sweeter? You seem like you're a little...
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
They had a good crossover. I liked Arrow, and then, like, was it after 2 episodes last season, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
This season is actually not terrible. They have a lot of new people joining Team Arrow that you'll see in the Arrow crossover episode. That they've got a lot of new characters that you probably have no idea who they are.
Right.
Just go with it though. But yeah, overall is a pretty fun episode of a ton of characters in this DC TV universe, just fighting each other, fighting aliens, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I really enjoyed this episode. The Flash Supergirl fight, race, call it what you will, but that was kind of a lot of fun.
Yeah. I also like that when it came down to having to take the leader of the free world, the leader of the world, dude. They took the president of the United States of America. That beacon of hope for the world. But I like how that he just had him and one other, like, suburban dude. They're like, all right, let's roll out. You know, like, hey, all right.
No military or anything. It was just like...
no, nothing. Aliens are attacking, dude. Guys like, hey, we're gonna get some ice cream. Okay, back in 2. We'll start this fight.
They also threw an Amanda Waller thing in there too. Little.
She was a part of the Arrow show.
Oh, is she? Okay, that's why I was like, I don't recall her being on any of the shows, dude, except for the Suicide Squad. That's all I remember, dude. So.
Yeah. They had their own version of Suicide Squad on Arrow.
Oh, awesome! I can only imagine, dude, what I missed out on. Nothing.
Some of the characters are pretty cool. And for being, it's interesting what they're doing with each episode, and I think they're going to continue with Arrow, as Arrow seems like a very, it's the 100th episode of Arrow this week, and they're doing a lot of backstories for Arrow that we'll talk about next week. A lot of flashbacks and what ifs.
Oh my God, that's how that show started, was on flashbacks, dude. They're going that route again.
That was so good in the beginning.
Well,
I was really confused with the flashbacks.
All the time. You didn't know where you were. You didn't know which reality you were in.
I don't think it's gonna be that bad. It's gonna be like a what if scenario.
It's still the invasion stuff on Arrow, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's still continuing, and the aliens, like, didn't they put them on like in cocoons of some variety towards the end of this episode, right?
Yeah, they sucked up a bunch of the.
Yeah, they sucked them all up to the spaceship.
Yeah, but they didn't put them in cocoons. Or
Not that I saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought Barry was gonna save the Arrow.
I think in the preview they show them like comatose and the weird like beam on them. So I think that they're gonna do some mind stuff. They're gonna explore the minds of some of these characters.
Oh yeah, they're in like an alternate reality, and Oliver's like, yeah, you're right.
But it's interesting that they still continue a lot of Flash storylines. Sweeney mentioned it already, but H.R. Wells and his museum idea for Star Labs, they still talked about. But other than that, a lot of the characters are kind of just like off in the back, like H.R. Wells, just like having one-liners every now and then and just smiling in the background.
And he's going to somehow train Wally West.
Right,
Yeah.
he's going to train Wally West.
Somehow. Like, he hasn't
Reluctantly,
worked
but-
with any, like, training speedsters yet in this Earth.
He knows how to motivate, though.
Yeah, he does. He's a good talker. Smooth talker.
But I feel like Wally West is so simple and weak-minded. It doesn't take very much to convince him.
No, dude, not at all. But it might take a lot to train that motherfucker.
Yeah, run as fast as you can, and then we're going to build this wall that's impenetrable, and you should just hit it at full speed.
See if you can go through it.
See how quickly you recover.
All right, let's close out this week's episode of The Flash, which is we're halfway through the crossover. So what do you guys have to score this week's episode?
Dude, I'm going to give it a 4 for the invasion. I thought it was a lot of fun, dude, getting all the superheroes together. They did it good. I mean, that was a huge cast to have in one episode, and to be able to manage all those people and put it together. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think I really had too much besides some of the like nitpicky bullshit, but other than that, dude, they were able to come together with it and kind of keep some secrets alive. And we'll see. When is the Flash next week is done with the invasion? It ends on Legends?
Yes, it's just this week is the crossover. So Arrow tonight, and then tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow. And the Flash has a new episode next week that is just a new episode.
I'm going to have to hunker down, dude.
Wrap things up quickly.
But yeah,
Watch on the CW app.
Oh yeah, I can do that. But H.R. Wells, do you think he's going to be the creator of Savitar then? If he trains Wally and Wally ends up being Savitar, new H.R. Wells could be.
Wells guys, so you never know.
He could be the biggest villain of the season. We're doing it.
Definitely.
Sweeter, what do you got, man?
Dude, I'm going with a full-blown...
No, don't even.
5 arrows for this
episode.
Wow.
Dude, you emptied it out.
I'm going with 5 Diggle helmets on this one. Overall, I thought for having as big of a cast as you could, I thought everybody played their part, had some good lines. I liked when, God, what was his name? Flamethrower. I can never remember his name. Heatwave.
While he's eating a sandwich.
He's like, I'm not going to call you Supergirl. And she's like, you can call me Kara. And he's like, I'm going to call you Skirt.
That was pretty good, yeah.
And he's like, what if I need help? He's like, I will never need help. And then when they were doing the mind thing, he's like, hey, Supergirl. Yeah. I thought that was pretty awesome. Dude, totally loving emo freaking Cisco, dude. And I love how, like, the most important piece of information that the gang has is on, like, an old iPod, like, just sitting out on the table for whoever to listen to when we hear the message from Barry 40 years in the future. Cisco listens to it, and then Cisco calls him out in front of everybody, dude. And then Flash's boy, dude, Oliver's like, fuck it, man. Flash don't go, I don't go. Either we one ride or nobody rides, dude. Overall, good. I don't like the fact that Supergirl whooped the shit out of everybody, dude, because she just is used to getting her ass kicked. But special effects were good in this. I like the chase scene, all that. So yeah, man. I don't think I've given out a 5 in a long time. I think the only thing I've given 5 out is probably Star Wars Rebels, probably.
And The Walking Dead, usually.
What? I've been brutal on The Walking Dead. I'm going to get even more brutal this week.
All right, I'm at a 4. It was a very fun episode of the crossover. The first real episode of the crossover, as most of the episode were things I've seen already, like Supergirl scene from the Supergirl episode, and then a lot of the trailers that they released was like a 2 or 3 minute scene from this episode. So felt kind of weird about that. I was like, I've already seen this. But yeah, overall, great episode for all the things Peter mentioned. It's just a very fun superhero crossover. That's all I wanted. Something fun. And Walking Dead, as we just mentioned, we're on episode 6, Where? And holy cow. I knew we're gonna have this episode eventually, but I really didn't think it to be this so Tara one-sided, where she dominated this episode as far as coverage, and it wasn't so great.
If by dominated you mean she was the only thing in this entire episode, then you would be 100% correct.
Like, even the opening scene with her and Heath, it bugged me to no end, because you could tell they didn't film that with 2 actors in the same RV. Because they just showed one character at a time. It was like, okay, they definitely worked together during this. And you can tell because there's like no passion or chemistry. And I know the actor who plays Heath is a really good actor. He's been in a lot of He's in that new reboot of 24. He's in all kinds of the NWA Straight Outta Compton thing. He's on.
So he's got skills. He's got skills.
He's in a lot. He's a good actor.
Don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't either.
But yeah, he didn't really get. I thought it was like gonna be Tara and Heath, but there's like little to no Heath in this episode besides a walker that looked like Heath. And yeah, we got a lot of Tara, and we get the introduction of a new community called Oceanside.
Nice, dude.
Well, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this Oceanside community.
I mean, can we just do what everybody else wants to do? Can we just say this? Walking Dead. Walking Dead. Stop resting on your laurels and your past success. Pull your head out of your fucking ass, dude, and give us the show we deserve. For that, I give this episode a 1. I'm ready to move on.
Dude,
Why did they? What was the point of this episode in the long?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's my whole thing. With it. I don't understand.
The only redeeming quality to this is that maybe Oceanside stacked, jacked, ready to rock with the arsenal was going to maybe help out.
That's the only reason why.
But Tara's not giving it up.
I was very confused by their introduction though, because they're like, yeah, all our men and children who were men, boys, were killed by Negan and the Saviors, and somehow they miraculously got away. They then were able to grab a horde of ammunitions that they must have not had.
You don't know. They could have found that, stumbled upon that.
Yeah.
You know.
And they've been able to remain hidden this long, dude. How is that possible?
In the middle of the Amazon or anything. It's like,
yeah, they're off a road.
How many saviors there are and how many outposts there are, they're everywhere. Then they would have found these people because you're gonna make noise in wherever you are.
Yeah.
There's gonna be fires. There's gonna be something.
You're gonna hear a kid crying. Someone screaming.
Yeah, someone's gonna run away.
Well, the thing was, they didn't have any outside fires, and all the windows were either boarded, closed, or draped because it was completely dark. And then when they walk in, they had candles on the inside. So I don't really think it's that implausible that they haven't found them.
Wasn't there a huge section of them outside doing clothing and like there's like half the village was outside, dude?
But they were like hidden back in the woods.
Yeah.
They were, but their whole motto of like, we kill first and ask questions later was really dumb. I understand why, but then they have Tara. They're like, we're gonna try to shoot you, and somehow Tara can escape all these bullets flying at her. It was amazing.
She's a fairly wide target.
Oh, dude, when Nichols shooting at her, you're gonna live.
I guess. I understand. I mean, they have to let her live because for story purposes, on this episode, they can just kill her after 2 minutes because then have no episode.
The only redeeming quality was she has, for the most part, she's been like pseudo the comedic relief for The Walking Dead, right? But when she's had like little one-liners here and there. But when they are filling this whole episode with her zingers and her attempts at fist bumps and walking down the road with her fucking sunglasses from the sunglass hut that she came from. Nobody notices that she's wearing like a shell bracelet, and they're like, "Hey man, where'd you get that shell bracelet? Those look like real shells, not none of them fake made in Taiwan shells." And dude, it's like she's completely lost. She has no idea where she is. She thought she fell in an ocean, a yeti, a ravine, a cistern. But yeah, they were gone and out in the RV for 2 fucking weeks, dude. And Tara is just gonna hoof it back.
She likes to run, she said.
Yeah.
And I know they like finally had to close out the whole like Tara and Denise storyline.
No, they didn't. They didn't
have to.
No,
but
it was done. No one cared.
They explored it in this episode and on this show. Even though the last time they talked about it was back in March, so that's really hard for anyone to be like, "Oh yeah, that's what happened." And for characters that we don't really care about, because these are like E-level characters, not even D-level characters. Below D.
When's the last time we saw Tara on the show?
Yeah, since March.
So who cares? Like, she could have been gone. Like, if I never saw her again, I wouldn't even care.
I would have assumed she was
There's
dead.
So many characters. Like, it's just like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if they wanted to bring her back, they could have did it in the last 4 minutes of this episode. She walks up to the gate. They say hi. He's all terrified. Boom. She's into the fucking city if you want to get her in. And just start an episode. Like, don't waste this whole episode. I already hate one-off episodes where they just follow
talked about
somebody.
waste of episodes this season.
Oh, dude, every other episode's a fucking waste, dude. This show, dude, is awful, man. I'm voting to kick it off of here.
No, it's not that bad. I actually enjoy
Whatever, dude. The only redeeming factor is that they're building a character that somebody fucking cares about. Obviously, nobody does.
No one's buying the action figure.
Yeah, it's just
like... Reminder, there's only 2 episodes left in this half season. And what have they accomplished this half season? There's usually like big things happening on The Walking Dead.
Which means these next 2 episodes is just going to be fucking bloodshed and death everywhere, man.
Which everybody
We
loves.
got to get our kill quota in.
No,
for
it's gonna
every
be Daryl
episode.
doing laundry over in the fucking for Negan and like following those cats around for a little while. It's gonna be bad, dude. Don't
I
get me
will
started.
mention ratings have dropped every episode this season.
Yeah,
Like, they've
it's-
gone down. And they're at the same level they were at, if not below, back in season 3, and we're in season 7. So the fact that they've gone up and up and up and up, and then just it drops so rapidly back to season 3 quality as far as ratings.
And then,
But
which
to be
is
fair,
crazy.
11 million people are still watching the show every week.
10.6 this week, though.
Higher than any
Yeah,
other show.
I mean, it's
by
still a
like
highly
5
rated
people.
show, but the fact of how significantly they're dropping shows the quality of the show, that people are upset and not coming back week to week.
That's hilarious that 10 million people enjoy this.
You know,
Well, not
it's
necessarily.
really.
I mean, I watched it. I didn't enjoy it. So.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
well, 10 million people are sticking around, and there's been a lot of shit lately. A lot.
I don't know.
I'm not even a fan of the show, but I mean, like, even fans are just like, I see people bitching about this show. It's like how it's going down. And they
because
even had
they're
Negan.
missed
How
it.
can they fuck it up, dude?
Well, here's how you have Negan, a very dynamic character, and then you don't show him because you show Tara.
I mean,
like,
heck, last
fucking
week
walking around for an hour.
last week we had Simon, who was by far, we talked about already, by far a more intriguing character than Negan has so far.
No way.
Simon was great.
I wish I was in on that argument. He was okay, but nowhere near as dynamic as Negan. That's crazy.
Negan just talks too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not on the
it's-
Negan boat anymore, dude. He's just
Negan
way.
is like the right. I
way
like
too wordy.
Negan for the opening episode, but then he's like so over the top about
Oh,
everything.
dude, he doesn't shut up.
They've killed it in my mind as far as what they could possibly do with Negan, and not a good kill, like a bad kill. All right, let's close out this week's episode of Walking Dead. Maybe we'll get something better next week as we're getting close to the mid-season finale. Sooners out of 1. Chad, where you
Oh,
at?
dude, hands down a 1, dude. And if you haven't seen it and you're only listening to us, don't see it. It's not worth the time. It will not change anything for
I mean,
this
technically,
season.
you could
Or
skip this week's episode.
yeah, you
Yeah,
literally,
it does nothing.
you literally
This
could skip
Oceanside
it.
community is probably going to come into play at some point and
Tara's gonna die
easily
soon.
appear, but yeah.
You know
That's
what's
the
gonna
whole thing,
happen?
right? They made us care about Tara, and they're gonna kill her. That's
Yeah,
what
so now when she finds out that her girlfriend took a fucking bolt to the eye, dude, and she just goes on a rampage with Carl to kill Negan, dude, it's all gonna go downhill.
And Tara's the one that fucking takes out Negan. There's your twist.
There's your twist. I'm giving it a 1. I thought this was the worst episode of the show that I've ever seen. Like hands down. I
I thought you just said it wasn't that bad.
no
Last week's
last
episode.
couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
Weren't so bad. I would probably give them 2s or 3s, but this was just garbage. Nothing. There's no redeeming. Nothing coming out of this.
Yeah, I'm at a 1 also. I knew they were doing the standalone Tara episode eventually. I knew the actress was pregnant, which explained why she was off the show for so long. But, I mean, we've had other actresses and actresses. Sasha was pregnant on this show. They still managed to do plenty of her in the storyline and have it somewhat interesting last season.
Wait, you said that you knew it was coming. In what point in the history of The
As far
Walking
as
Dead
that-
did anyone like ever go, dude, I could go for a Tara episode solo. That'd be great.
Well, because they
Yeah, there's
always,
great
because this was it's been what The Walking Dead has been doing. It's what Scott Kimple's been doing with these standalone episodes.
When someone goes
and
outside
so-
the base, they follow them.
But you knew there was a standalone.
I mean, I
episode?
really
You knew
didn't
there was a
think-
But it's
standalone
always been
Tara.
good
I
characters.
really didn't think it'd be entirely Tara this episode. I really thought maybe there's a little heat. Maybe there's a difference. Maybe there's more interaction with other characters, not just them in this entire episode. But yeah, it was a bad episode 1 for sure. Let's just move on and we'll head to Gotham, episode 11. The Beware the Green-Eyed Monster, and this is the mid-season finale of Gotham, I will remind you. And we got a little wedding action going on with Mario and Lee. And we got some tightrope action with Bruce and Selena. I need to touch on that because it blows my mind. This little
That
like
he's just gonna pull that rope and hold her up there.
We actually tried to do
Wrap
that
her around
earlier.
the door.
and me and Jason practiced before we started recording.
Chris was
and
like, "That's not possible." I was like, "Bullshit, we can do it."
I
here."
dropped Jason
He
after
fell.
5 seconds. But yeah, it was like a back gadget they had, which was kind of interesting. But the pure physics of it, of him just holding this rope as she's walking, and she falls, right? Because they're interrupted by that crazy.
Yeah, because the
flashing panel.
guy takes a swing at him.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to make a rope that tight when you have it like on a screw on a wall or something, like on a a bolt in the wall, like let alone
Like,
have
you
a
should
kid.
hear me
Like that thing would have to go really far into the wall.
Yeah.
You should have heard me grunting when I put my clothesline upstairs outside with wet clothes. I'm like, "Ugh," trying to tie a square knot in there, keeping it tight, dude.
Boy Scouts come out.
I know.
And we
right?
get the introduction of Selena's mom in this episode that we knew.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was very weirdly placed. Like, hey, she just shows up in this house. Maybe
And
she
it's
just
like, hey gang, let's go.
maybe she just watches Selena from time to time from afar.
Yeah, and it was weird how Selena thought they were being watched. You know, she's like, I got this feeling.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then the rest of this episode was about Mario, the soon-to-be husband of Lee Tompkins, the son of John Falcone, Carmen Falcone, and he's infected with the blood of Alice Tetch.
Or
And-
he was infected, we should say.
Right. And yeah, the wedding was kind of weird. I don't know any bride and groom that would just run away from the reception like they did. And Gordon being there and then just being like,
Hey, when you got a
"Right."
hit on you, dude, you gotta get away. You gotta escape, man.
And then, like, he gets the shit kicked out of him, but yet he still manages to get up. And I like how he just fucking shoots two of Don Falcone's guys right in the fucking leg. And he's like, who else are you going to send? Dude, like, you're a fucking cop, Gordon. All right? Don Falcone's a fucking mob boss. Now Don Falcone is going to fucking sit there and listen to Gordon's lip, dude? Fuck you, man.
And especially, and they're putting themselves in a weird spot again because they're like, okay, Gordon's back being a cop. He saw the light from this fever dream with
Yeah,
his
and
dad.
now he's back out just doing
Bounty
what the
hunter
fuck-
stuff, man.
And he specifically told Falcone that I won't kill Mario.
Yeah.
And then he gets there and
He
shoots
taps him
Mario.
twice in the chest in front of Lee.
And the big cliffhanger until it comes back later this winter is that Lee didn't see Mario holding a knife.
Right.
It fell, and she just thinks that Gordon killed Mario in cold blood. So dun dun dun, the love triangle continues, despite
It's terrible.
it not really being a triangle.
Dude, the real good love triangle.
Penguin. I really wish they'd stop tearing Penguin down. I'm sick of seeing Penguin just like demoralized and dealing just Penguin. They keep bringing Penguin back up and then bringing him back down. It's a weird roller coaster they're doing with Penguin, and I'm kind of sick of them seeing it. Nigma was great in this episode. I really enjoyed it a lot.
I do like Butchie too.
You love Butchie.
Yeah, dude, Butchie's your boy. You can't get enough Butchie,
My boy Butch.
dude. you got a thing for Butch, dude.
But yeah,
I did love seeing her try to grasp the knife with her reattached hand.
I knew they were gonna do that shit, dude. We couldn't get a nubby, dude. They had to go ahead and reattach
I know.
it, dude. I was so
And I
fucking
like-
disappointed when I
Reattach
saw
it.
that. Stupid.
And what's Gordon's ex-fiance's name? I can't think of her name right now.
Barbara.
I like how Barbara's like, they'll be the muscle, you'll be the brains, and well, I'll just be me, and I'll be the head of this whole thing.
She's the queen bee.
Dude.
I was like, what? All right, okay, cool.
She's had the comeback of the year, dude, on this show. I used to
like
They're
hate
her,
her,
really doing
dude.
something interesting with her.
She's
so.
like the
And it
lead
was
villain at
visible.
this point, dude.
It was
Yeah.
good to see the Mad Hatter again, too, but I don't
I
like
loved
that the Mad
his
Hatter gave up
newspaper
the
hat.
riddle so easily.
Did you guys love his newspaper hat?
That
Yeah.
was awesome, dude. Prison colors?
Hey, that guy's actually a decent actor, man. Like the way he was tearing up and like how he was delivering his stuff, dude. I kind of was getting, I was feeling a little emotional
It was
for him.
pretty
Dude.
good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Poor guy.
I feel like it was much better than his work on The Walking Dead, but that's just my opinion.
Is he Jesus on The Walking Dead?
He was the wolf.
He was the wolf that was in the locked
Oh,
up.
gotcha.
Oh. But yeah, I think we kind of covered most of this. Let's close this out because we've got more to talk about. What are you going to score, guys?
Dude, I'll throw a 4 at this bad boy. I liked it, front to back, man. And I do like seeing little Bat Boy starting to pull out some gadgets a little bit, dude. He's got the flashbang out there, dude. And I think that was just like to start giving him things that he can fight back with. So hopefully we get to see some more little creations like that. Because I did, when he threw the flashbang, I kind of was like, okay, dude, Little Wayne, yeah, dude, he's got something, dude, because he's obviously doesn't have size. He doesn't have fighting skills, so he's got to learn young to use the gadgets.
Took that dude's knife, dude, and jammed it right through his throat.
Yes, dude. And that guy is gone off the show, who I thought was invincible, dude. That was an awesome fight, dude. This show continues to be like the bloodiest show on fucking network
I wish
television.
they actually named that guy something though.
Right.
Yeah, he was, dude. He was. He called him something when he was talking about it, and it was like Sling or Slice or something weird.
I never caught a name. So. Flame Blade, I don't know.
It was Slice. No, he did have a name, and yeah, they called it to him. But yeah, 4 for this episode, man. I'm having fun with Gotham right now, dude. It's doing good. Barbara, if you're listening.
Yeah, man, I'm
coming over.
probably right there at a 4. I thought overall, the whole Enigma and Penguin thing was pretty good. Like when Enigma finally started to listen to Barbara, I like why can't Don Falcone's son completely played Gordon like a fiddle, dude. Exactly, and he did everything he was going to. I just don't think he's expected to take 2 fucking slugs to the sternum, but hey, it is what it is. And it's going to be super juicy to see what Barbara comes up with Enigma to bring down Penguin and destroy everything that he loves. And it's going to be awesome to see what Don Falcone does once he finds out Jim Gordon killed his son after he said he wouldn't.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, they called the guy Talon.
Oh, is that?
That's his name. Not Slice, dude. Slice would have been better, dude. Maybe next season we'll get a Slice.
Or Sling Blade. I'm at a 3 for the mid-season finale. There are a lot of awesome things, especially the Enigma stuff. But Gordon, weird place he's in now that we'll have to explore with him killing Falcone's son. It's not that interesting to me. So, yeah, I didn't really appreciate that. And then Selena's mom showing up was a weird story that
out of left field. Yeah,
we're gonna be stuck with for a while. I know they mentioned her a couple times in the past, so like, oh, maybe she's gonna show up, and she did. The tightrope thing killed me. It's probably why I didn't give it a 4. But overall, it was a fun episode.
Selena's mom and Alfred, dude.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Alfred, you killed the guy.
Yeah, I feel like Alfred's like taking out of Ramon or whatever that dude's name was. That should bump it up to a 4.
Taking out Talon, dude. That guy's been like a hitman, like doing work for the whole season, dude.
Dude, and also Gordon pimp slaps what's his name and takes a clip back from him.
Oh yeah, well, Victor Zash, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very strange. I don't think he would take that like that, but they kind of played his abilities down this week all of a sudden. All right, let's get into a couple more shows. I'm going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. real quick, because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that watched it. But the mid-season finale for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. deals with our Devils. Best episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've seen in a very long time. Highly recommend it. They did this cool dual story Twilight Zone kind of thing where a few characters were in this alternate dimension and they were still interacting with everyone else. And then the other people who were in the real life dimension were like, can't see them, but they were playing the timeline way of things. They showed from each perspective. So it was really cool how they did it. I really enjoyed it. There's an android which might possibly get some crazy powers. So it's kind of reminiscent of Age of Ultron, and see if that goes that way. Ghost Rider got a new host for a little bit of this episode. I'm not going to spoil who it was, but if you want to give it a watch, Ghost Rider has a new host temporarily who was seeking vengeance. And a brother of a senator has been stuck in a cocoon from Terrigen Mist for 7 months, I think. And really interesting to see how that's going to play off when the season comes back after the winter break, where they go there. But yeah, really great episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'd give it a 5. It was that great.
Holy crap.
Episode.
Really?
Yeah, great episode. I recommend it.
Hey, what did they ever do with the... did they do anything with...
They didn't do anything with Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they touched a little with this Darkhold book.
Yeah.
A little bit, but they didn't fully mention Doctor Strange whatsoever.
Okay.
Which I think actually benefited them, because the last few times has been a little cheap with their throwbacks to what's going on in the Marvel movies. Kind of like that they did their own thing. Appreciate that.
Cool.
And we've got Star Wars Rebels Episode 8, the Winkaku Job. Kind of a filler episode this week of Star Wars Rebels. Really disappointing.
Rebels is going down the filler road?
For this week, yeah. They brought
probably the worst episode of the season, if you ask me.
I'd really give this week's episode a 1. Because
I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's not Walking Dead fucking bad.
And they brought Hondo back from the Clone Wars, and he's been in Star Wars Rebels a few times. This Asmorin guy.
The whole thing with Hondo and Ezra, and Ezra just loving Hondo is getting old. There's some weird stuff with Ezra and Zeb where they brought something back from season 1 where they just bicker with each other all the time. Yeah. I mean, this was just a complete total filler episode. Hondo gets nothing but his little piglet back at the end, and they have to split him out. There's no overall continuing story arc to anything. Kanan is non-existent. Same with Hera. It was just essentially
it's an episode you should probably just skip. It was a terror episode of The Walking Dead. Just skip this week's episode.
I give it a 2. I'm not going to compare this to this week's episode of The Walking Dead because that's just not even fair. But yeah, weak episode, and probably the only other 5s I've given out so far has probably been Star Wars Rebels. So, ugh.
All right, let's get into the news real quick. Not a ton of news, but Inhumans TV show is going to premiere September 26th on TV. And it's expected to run 8 consecutive episodes, finale being November 14th. Loving that this is a nice, quick 8-episode series. I'm going to go see it in the IMAX because why not? They're spending the money to do IMAX quality visuals. Let's go see the first 2 episodes in the IMAX. Should be fun.
Is it going to be free?
No, it won't be free. You have to pay. They want money.
All right.
Are there going to be commercials?
I don't think so in the IMAX, no. But yeah, I'm kind of really curious to see what they're going to do because they're going to be touching on the real deal Inhumans, the royal family, and they're on the moon. So a lot of cool things to come with Inhumans. Not sure how they're going to play off the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was going to come back for a 5th season at this point. Not sure that's what they're going to do. Or if it's just going to be, or if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just going to pick up after Inhumans. Not sure what they're going to do, but they've explored Inhumans' plan, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so we'll see what happens. Some Power Ranger news, as the new movie reboot is coming very soon. Got our first look at Alpha 5, and very weird looking.
That goes without saying, though. Rita Repulsa, from what we know, looks weird as shit looking. It
fits with how Rita Repulsa kind of looks. It's hard for me to think of.
I love it, dude.
Something else as Alpha 5, but I'll give it a shot.
It has a shape.
It is very Alpha 5-y for a new day, dude. Do you think
Those
the guy
weird,
who plays the Oompa Loompa is in there?
A little bit different.
Warwick is in there.
I'll wait to see it
actually
in action with hear what it sounds like and some movements.
See how it moves. It has to move right.
Yeah, dude, it's cool. Gonna be great, dude. It looks cool.
It seems like an all CGI character though, so see what happens.
Ay.
I wonder if they're gonna come up with a new tagline for it.
You can't, right? You have to stick with the original.
Keep the throwback. Yeah. I'm really curious about this Power Rangers movie, and I haven't been into Power Rangers since I've been 7. So
No one has. But I think they have something. The trailer looked cool.
Dude, the more I have to sit through that trailer in theaters for new movies, the less I'm getting excited for it, dude.
I haven't seen it.
Once you see it the first time, you're like, oh, this could be cool. And then you see it a couple times, and you're like, dude, this is like Boy Meets World, and they got superhero costumes.
Wow. Okay.
It's like it just feels like another like high school drama with superheroes. Like it's just I don't know, man. There's a lot that they need to prove, dude. Because like some of that shit seems real campy, but I've killed Rangers before. If I gotta hear that again.
Ooh.
That's pretty good though, right, dude?
Yeah.
I do a new Rita. Rita.
You have seen that a lot.
Oh, dude, I've seen it like every movie I've been to. I've seen it in front of.
Has it been in front of anything I've seen? It's weird.
all right, that's it for the news, and that's it for this week on Adapted. Join us next week for episode 105 as we continue our crossover. I'm going to get these guys to watch Arrow for the first time in several years.
Not happening. Not happening.
No
We
way,
have
bro.
to for the crossover.
I know. I'm just
Hey, whoa.
goofing. I'll do it.
It's a crossover, Chad. Come on. You gotta watch it. And we got Legend of Tomorrow that continues the crossover.
I'm afraid I'm going to
Thursday,
get hooked.
You will. You probably will. Don't be afraid. Let it in. We'll talk Walking Dead and see if they redeem themselves after this week's disaster. Got a new episode of The Flash, Star Wars Rebels, and we won't have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since that closed out for the mid-season. No Gotham next week, no Supergirl. So a lot of shows are suddenly disappearing, and winter is coming.
I feel like we've probably got at least 8 episodes of the Flintstones to cover.
We do have a lot of comics
Yes.
to cover, so we'll be talking some comics in the next few weeks as some of these shows say goodbye. All right, but join us for the Block Party as we talk a little bit video games and all these Black Friday deals and possible new investments that some of us bought
Ooh.
here at
yeah.
Block Party. And Chad's got some Final Fantasy 15 to definitely dissect.
Ooh, 10 years in the making, dude. Does it live up to it? I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Nothing can.
Yeah. We'll
Lot of
find
pressure.
out. We
Dude,
got
I
off
don't know. Like, through all these crossover episodes, they were promoting Final Fantasy pretty hardcore. And as a person who's never played it ever in my life,
Show's great.
it looks pretty good.
I mean,
Yeah.
that entire company is riding on this game selling 15 million copies. That is not even a joke.
And you know what? Honestly, I'll have to tune into the Block Party because I have no fucking idea what Final Fantasy even is. I thought it was like some 1800s witches and warlocks. You're doing witches brews, but the commercial where "Stand By Me" is playing. That was a pretty good little advert, dude. They're cruising around in a car. It's like modern times. I'm
Yeah,
like, dude.
It mixes new age, future, and magic. So fantasy and
I mean,
future.
me right now, I went to try to go get FIFA. No dice. Every Best Buy was sold out of it, bitches. But I did pick up Fallout 4, man. And
Solid plan.
games really got me pretty fucking frustrated right now.
So-
I can see that. I can see
Not
that.
enough stim packs, dude. Right now, I'm just running around trying to not fucking die, dude. And whenever I go into a building, I'm just getting murdered by a bunch of zombies.
Yeah, can we get you streaming that? Because your frustration would be pretty close.
Yes, that needs to fucking happen.
Dude, all I do is I hit quick save about 7 million times in case, like, some random thing sees me. I can't run away fast enough to, like, try to drink some polluted water, dude, to get some health back.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, find us on twitch.tv/OuterNav, youtube.com/OuterNav Live, and facebook.com. Subscribe to us, never miss another video again. For myself, Tristan, Smear, Chad, and Jason, we will catch you next week.
See you later, guys.
Everybody.
Woo woo.
Mazel.
You always do the mazel, dude.
Mazel.